It all started when the Roman Empire collapses, which leads to a new age. In 476, the Visigoths moved to Iberia. This is where they become Catholic and enslaved Jews. Islam rises. Islam spreads when Muhammad started preaching that he had received messages from God. Some of the prophets were Abraham and Jesus, like in Christianity and Judaism. Islam spreads to Africa, where converted Berbers called Moors conquered Spain in 711. By 732, Al-Andalus is established when they share lands with Christians and Jews, which become protected people. A reason why they're so tolerant is because of the Quran. It says the religions should be respected. It is during this time where a new culture has flourished and a lot of ideas are born. Muslim King Abdul Rahman orders construction of the mosque in Cordoba. It is built on a Visigothic base, and the red and white arches are very ornamental. A Byzantine artist from Constantinople brings to Sari little glass squares placed on the building. The mihrab is built to show the direction of Mecca and to amplify a preacher's voice. After the Reconquista started and they had captured Cordoba, the king orders the mosque consecrated as a Catholic church, which becomes an elaborate cathedral. This building represents Spain very well. It was first Visigothic, then Islamic, and ends up being Christian. When visitors would come and see the Islamic architecture, they would be very impressed because it had gardens and it was very open and people were wearing perfume, so it was very clean. This developed an integrated culture. For example, Christians would remain Christians but spoke Arabic, and Jews and Muslims would do business together, which got them a lot of attention and led to a center of trade. Viking ships and merchants from Baghdad would bring goods and people. For example, a musician from Baghdad developed the first conservatory of music and brought the newest fashion of the East. Also, literature was impacted. A Byzantine emperor would send books and people to translate them. Jewish scholar Socrates translated them with 3 people. He absorbed all of the knowledge from different civilizations and added to it, which developed into poetry. A new form of poetry was formed. It was choral, back and forth, with Arabic singing and refrains from Christians. Also, they had libraries that contained almost every subject. It had technology, which led to agricultural boom, like the water wheel and sophisticated irrigation, which allowed them to develop gardens. The water wheel, the lemon tree, the astrolabe, and Aristotle's lost philosophy all arrived in Europe through Islamic Spain. In the 11th century, Al-Andalus breaks apart and Christianity Reconquista begins capturing everything but Granada. This allows the Muslim and Christian knowledge to travel to Europe, which leads to the Renaissance. Select Muslims and Jews are permitted to stay because of skills. The Jews knew the business and the agriculture, and Muslims were very skilled at architecture. The conquest is stalled by war and plague. The Muslim kingdom of Granada expands the Alhambra in 1354, which is one of the greatest Islamic architecture ever built. Visitors would be very impressed because it had poems on the walls that talk about itself. This building reflects the time where Islam was open to other people. Kings would also hire Muslims to build palaces. For example, a king hired a Muslim in Seville to remodel the Alcazar. It had inscriptions in Latin and Arabic and shields of Castile. They didn't change it into a cold palace like they were used to, but they changed their own lifestyle to become more like Muslims, which embodies the culture of Al-Andalus.